They just do it, the agenda. I just had.
Go. I'd like to call to order the Board of Supervisors meeting for Monday, August 19th at 7 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. How about we establish a quorum, Amy? Roll call.
Supervisor Jeannie Vogel,
Present.
Supervisor Mark Hand,
Here.
Chairman Dan Wolfle,
Here.
Supervisor Linda Wade,
Here.
Supervisor Trent Olson.
Here.
The city attorney.
Well, I guess we have a quorum. Well, let's go on to the meet and greet. We'll start with the gentleman with the attractive shoes.
I already said my part.
Oh, the shirt I'm not going to mention.
Just wait. I'm Jim Mitchie, 4159 Bay Shore Drive.
Gwen Gray Boys, 5343 South Lake Road.
Amy Sullivan, Town Attorney.
Dawn Miller, 5100 Apple Road.
Lynn Hancock, 5100 Apple Road.
Theo Vogel, a supervisor in the township here, 4693 Windermere Road, Prague, I think.
Nick Hoffman, 4280 Highway 57.
Ryan Schwalman, 4912 Valley Road.
Nolan Sean, 4912 Carrie Nellis, Highway 57.
Good enough. Gentlemen?
Eric Denise, 4990 Country Road.
Roddy Chapman, Glidden Drive.
All right. Well, glad everybody's here. You've chosen a really interesting evening to join us. More to follow. Public participation. Anyone wishing to speak on a topic that's not on our agenda? Yes.
Yes. I have a few samples here, actually enough for one for all of the supervisors. Sir Speedy was not terribly speedy this time. I want to introduce the discussion on Mike. Oh,
Mike.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'd
Sorry.
like to hear you better.
Gwen Gray Boys, I want to introduce the topic of wake surfing on Clark Lake. I would like this, I am representing a group of concerned citizens regarding the ecological damage that wake boats do on lakes that have less than about 20 to 25 feet of water depth, as well as the safety issues concerning other people on the lake at the time that the wake boat is operating as a wake boat. I would like to distribute these posters today to the supervisors and then follow it up with discussions and talks over the next weeks to a month or so, and hopefully bring it to a decision on whether we can pass an ordinance at the October meeting. We are working with the town of Jacksonport as well, since they have about 50% of the perimeter of the lake. And we are also working in collaboration with Kangaroo Lake to see if both lakes can get a wake surfing ban for the lakes, using similar, if not identical, ordinances. We are not against wake surfing. We are against wake surfing on Clark Lake. There's plenty of opportunity with plenty of water that's deep enough in Lake Michigan and Green Bay, but we have less than 1% of the surface area on Clark Lake that has a depth greater than 20 feet. And we have wake boats that both visit the lake and are apparently owned by people on the lake, whether they're year-round residents or not, but there are wake boats already there. And we would very much like to stop that to minimize the damage and danger of being out on the lake when a wake boat is actively operating in depths that are inadequate for the construction of a boat and the wake that it creates.
Okay.
Okay?
I am probably more familiar than I'd like to be with it.
No, sorry.
No, that's all
Can I
right.
give these now or do it at the
No, you
end?
can hand them out later, that's fine.
Okay.
What I would do is I would tell you that we'll put it on a future park meeting agenda.
Okay.
Because it belongs with them as a starting point,
Okay,
and let you do your conversations, discussions, whatever, with them as a starting point, and then they'll bring it back to the board if it's the appropriate
Okay.
thing to do. Okay?
okay.
So, no problem. Anyone else wishing to speak? All right, if not, let's move on back to our agenda. Before I do that, I'm going to take a second and just want to acknowledge, if you have a mailbox and you live in the town, you recently received a newsletter that was put together by the town. We try to do a couple a year, we're down to one a year. This one is up in size, 12 pages. It was a very nicely done newsletter that was done by our town clerk, Amy, and Linda Waite. And they really spent a lot of time putting this together, and it's got some great information in it. I actually reread it today because I forgot some of the things I said, in case somebody asked me. But if you haven't taken a look at it, there's some really good information in it, and I would encourage you to do that. And I also thank the two of them for their efforts. I think it was a terrific job. So,
And all the others
And
that
Mr.
helped.
Chapman
Laddie.
for
I'm
laying it
sorry,
out.
and Laddie, who does the formatting. Sorry, I didn't mean to pass on that. All right, let's adopt the agenda. So a motion to approve. Well, let's start with, I assume Amy always posts it properly, right?
It was properly noticed.
Yes, it was. All right, motion to adopt.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion by Jeannie, second by,
A second.
second by Trent to adopt the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Approval of the minutes, Board of Supervisors meeting, July 15th. Motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the Board of Supervisors meeting from July 15th, 2024 as published in our packet.
Motion by Linda, second
I'll
by,
second that.
second by Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, on the pending business. The first item this evening is a conversation we're going to have with our town attorney, and it will be in closed session regarding the Miller Hancock Pool variance on Apple Road. For those of you, we have not traditionally done a closed session during a board meeting. This is due to circumstances. So we will be adjourning to a separate room to have those discussions, and then we will be returning back and continuing the agenda. So I can't tell you if it's 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 20, or whatever, but that's what's going to happen. So we're going to adjourn to a closed session under Wisconsin statutes for the following purpose, which is referring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning a strategy to be adopted by the board or the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. And this is a negotiation and/or settlement with the Hancock-Miller notice of claim. So with that, before we go into closed session, we would need to have a roll call vote to do that. So we need a motion and then a roll call vote.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
All right, motion by-
Second.
Motion by Mark, second by Trent to go into closed session. Amy, will you do roll call?
Walpole?
Yes. Sorry.
Wait.
A, yes.
Wait.
Aye.
Hay.
Aye.
Vogel.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Okay,
Motion carried.
motion carried. So we will be back hopefully soon.
Well, soon?
Sorry, everybody.
Set? Okay, we're back from closed session, and we're going to make one change to our agenda this evening, and that is we're going to move up the resolution on disallowance of claim on Hancock and Miller. And before I go through that, I want to just take a couple seconds to let you understand what we are doing is we are essentially disallowing the claim for the purposes of timing. As I understand it, and again, I'm a layman here, but we are reducing the interval of time that a claim could be filed against us from 3 years to 6 months by disallowing the claim. And it's a procedural thing that we have to do via our insurance company and recommendation through our town's attorney. So bear with me, I'll read this brief resolution, so at least you'll be on the same page as us. It's Resolution Number 1, 2024, disallowance of claim for Miller/Hancock. The Town Board of the Town of Sevastopol, Door County, by this resolution adopted by a majority of the Town Board on a roll call vote with a quorum present and voting and proper notice having been given, resolves and orders as follows. The formal written claim of a 30-foot above-ground pool relocation by Lynn Hancock and Dawn Miller as claimants against the Town of Sevastopol or its officers, officials, agents, or employees presented to the town on May 22nd, 2024 and June 4th of 2024 is disallowed. This resolution is adopted, as adopted, is a notice of disallowance of claim under Section 893.80 Wisconsin statutes. The town clerk shall serve this resolution as the town's notice of disallowance of claim upon the claimant by certified or registered mail, and proof of service of the notice shall be obtained by the town clerk. No action under the claim by the claimant against the town of Sevastopol or against its officers, official agents, or employees may be brought after 6 months from the date of this service by the town of Sevastopol of this resolution upon the claimant. The town clerk shall properly post or publish this resolution as required under Section 60.80 of Wisconsin statutes, adopted this 19th day of August 2024. So we would need a motion to do this and then a roll call vote. So motion,
I'll make the motion, Resolution 01, 2024, disallowance of claim.
all right, motion by Mark, second by?
I'll second.
Second by Trent. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
She's got to do a roll call.
Sorry, roll call. Even though I read that, I go back. Sorry.
Supervisor Olson,
Aye.
Supervisor Vogel,
Aye.
Supervisor Hand,
Aye.
Chairman Wolfle,
Aye.
Supervisor Wade.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
Do you want the motion?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town attorney to pursue a potential resolution.
I'll second that.
Motion by Jeannie, second by Trent, to allow our town attorney to pursue resolution of a claim with Miller Hancock. Any further discussion on that motion? All right, hearing none, and doesn't need a roll call vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Amy. All right, back to our agenda. We have a broadband update from Ms. Vogel.
I have really good news. So the Wisconsin PSC and AT&T have amicably reached an agreement concerning the Capital Projects Fund grant. The agreement will be signed this week when the attorney for AT&T, who has been working on this, comes back from vacation. So at that point, then Sevastopol's contract with AT&T will have to be amended to reflect the amount of the grant, which will bring the cost down by about $816,693, which is the amount of the grant. So the cost of the broadband initiative is $7,424,480. The 30% share of the town of Sevastopol is $2,227,344. With this grant, our costs will come down to $1,410,651. We will meet with AT&T again in mid to late September. Details will be discussed regarding implementation. There will be community events and educational events in the very near future. And just one other note, the Communications and Technology Committee will meet on August 28th. This is not about broadband, it's about, at 1:30. This will be about a presentation from Roger Ide from Northern Sound and Video, who did the upgrade of the audio here. There's a few other improvements we'd like to make on the audio, and we're going to talk about video upgrades. So it's certainly a public meeting, so people are invited to come if they wish.
Thank you, Jeannie.
You're welcome.
I will add a couple footnotes to Jeannie's comments. And we talked about financing this going back. I know it's been a while. And the good news is, at least, we are over, I think, over the hurdle that eventually the feds will be lowering the interest rates. And although it's speculation, it looks like potentially 2 interest rate reductions before the end of the year, which will again play into our analysis, and it'll only be more beneficial for us, even though it delayed the implementation a bit, but that aspect wasn't under our control. But the plan that we had put in place initially, and I think we will hold to, which was to use our existing funds as a temporary bridge to make the first payment, and the way the schedule will be revised, that first payment may actually not even happen until the first of the year. So all in all, the interest rates will work in our favor. I think we'll be able to, well, obviously, we're going to save a significant sum of money as a result of the grant. And I know it's been a struggle for everybody wondering who, what, where, when, and how. But I think we actually do have a light at the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel, and it is not a train. So good news from that perspective. So thanks again, Jeannie.
You're welcome.
Glidden lanes, this has been access lanes, this has been kind of an ongoing thing, and I wanted to just take a couple minutes and update the board on where we're at. And in front of you, my photography came in late, so it didn't get in the packet. You have pictures of the lanes as they exist today. The last full-size sheet is Bittersweet, which has changed, but you see where they've trimmed out the lanes, which I think they did a nice job. They removed the soil barricades, brush, whatever, that sat in front of 2 of the lanes, which were, I have a note here what it was. Oh, White Pine and Deer Path had obstructions at the end of the lane. So we had Lily Bay come in and clean all of that out, so that's why you see a fairly clear shot. All of the tree trimming has been done. The last one was accomplished on Friday, and that was Bittersweet. Bittersweet had initially been blocked, as you can see from the concrete block and the construction equipment. I worked with the sheriff and with Amy Sullivan as well to resolve this. We're hopeful that the building of that structure is not going to occupy that lane. If it does, I'll engage the sheriff and they will deal with it for us. So the lanes are clear, the trimming's done. We have signs on order with the county. They're hopeful, I'm going to guess they are not going to make them by month end, but initially they were hopeful. So we'll have signs at the beach side announcing the rules, and we'll have a double-face sign out on Glidden Drive that'll say Bittersweet Lane Public Access, 60 or 50 feet wide, whatever it might be. So those will get up there. I had the boys from the park remove the 2 old signs about snowmobiling and others that were embedded in a couple of trees down there. So I think we're pretty close to having it resolved. I think there's maybe one obstruction or something that that individual's working on that still has to come out of there, but I think we're past much anything other than the signage. So just give you that update. All right. Okay, going on to the emergency management plan. This is Supervisor Olson who put this together for us. Trent, I'm going to let you have the floor.
Sure. So it was brought up a few months ago that every town needs to have an emergency management plan. We do not. The Door County does have an emergency management plan. They've also done some hazard analysis. So the emergency response plan really just goes into what would happen if a major event would happen, large-scale tornado, huge flood, big famine, that kind of thing. And it really, it has contact information for all the various county departments. And then it has a lot of checklists and, that really break out the roles and responsibilities of everyone who is, who has something to do. It has contacts for who we need to reach out to for support. It has just different ideas that you may not think about. It's just a checklist that says, hey, are we feeding our workers? Do we have a cleanup system? Have we engaged a sheriff? What should the sheriff be doing? So you can kind of just continue to build on this and build on this, but I kind of picked all the best parts that I hope are the really the things that our town would need if a major event like this would happen. And I'm just kind of going to go through some of the different areas. So we have like a checklist for evacuation and transportation, warning and communications, fire services, the roles that the town chairman would have to do, the roles that the town clerk would have to do, if we would have to engage human services, public health, and then law enforcement. So just kind of spelling out the roles that everyone would have to do. When I sent this out, I still had not had a chance to get a hold of Aaron LeClaire from Door County Emergency Services. He did contact me back and said that we should be working with the new person, Jeb Salins. So Jeb is now the Door County Emergency Management Director. So what I'd like to do is, once the board has had a time to review this, I'm going to send this over to Jeb, have him give a once-over on it, because he's, from what Aaron said, he does a lot of this type of work to make sure that we have everything covered. And then, once we get Jeb's input, then we can make this our official plan.
All right, that sounds good by me. I noticed all of the duties that were assigned to either myself or Amy, and the fact that we, let's hope I don't ever have to do any of this stuff, although I will agree it was pretty comprehensive in terms of who does what to whom and when.
It is.
In terms of what's up.
The one thing that I noticed, and as I was going through it, several other towns' emergency management plans, is there's no backup. So I assume that if something would happen to our town chairman, we would have to name another town chairman, or we would have to have, or maybe that would have to be something
Another
that you
vice
say.
chair.
That would be the vice chair.
Linda.
Okay, that would be
She
vice,
would
okay.
jump right into action. Right,
Excellent,
Linda?
okay.
Yes, I will.
All right, okay.
With a little more enthusiasm, right? I mean, because
Okay.
you would have the command center, which is the town hall. So,
Okay,
all
very
right,
good, thank
I'll
you.
look forward to when you have had that conversation, we will bring this back. But like you said, it's actually probably not a bad idea to have some idea what your expectations are, and especially, I noticed with the clerk too, many of the aspects that I wouldn't have anticipated that we'd want to track, like records and costs and damage and so on and so forth, so.
It is, yeah, it's a lot of things that you wouldn't think of, but it's very important to
Right.
have documented.
So, okay, great. Thank you for that. Next item is road closure, and I just wanted to spend a minute because this is going to impact all of us. Starting on Tuesday after Labor Day, Highway 57 will be closed from Valmy to the farm. The state is going to be ripping out the existing culvert at Geisel Creek, if you know where that is, just past Valmy. And the second culvert at Logan Creek, which is just before the farm, and replace those with concrete box culverts. So during that determined time, and it will be almost 4 months of time, the road will be closed to through traffic, and they will be routing traffic north on 42 and over to I if they're heading north to like Jacksonport or something else. If you're in the town, obviously, and you're familiar with the back roads, you know how you're going to be able to navigate through that. You know, take Plure or Bechtel or Forest or any number of other roads. And if you're coming to the town hall, obviously, if you access off 42, you can come down Dunn, but you will be kind of landlocked in between the two. So I just want to make you aware of it. Their timetable is to start on Tuesday, and they're projected to finish in December. And part 2 of this, as if it isn't painful enough, in 2025, they will take and close, it's right by Mr. G's. That's
That's another culvert.
it's another culvert. I can't remember if that's,
What's the
Logan Creek?
that's not Logan.
Logan Creek, yeah. that's
That is Logan Creek then
Yep,
too?
That's
Yeah,
Logan.
okay. Logan Creek up there. They're will be doing the same thing there, and they're gonna do the same thing north of Jacksonport at Hibbert's. So, Hibbert's Creek. So you'll be kind of stuck again in between there, depending on the route you're going to take. So anyway, just want to make everyone aware of that. Yes?
How long is P closed until?
They'll start paving I think, in the next week. They hope to get a single layer of pavement down, and they have also pulverized West Whitefish Bay. At least they were supposed to finish that today. And that'll be another 2 to 3 weeks out before pavement will go down there. But that'll complete our town and the county's work on P as well. So, yes.
Is there an error in this letter, Mr. Chairman, where it says will begin September 2024 and finish in November 2025? Is that the whole thing?
That's the
that
whole project,
includes
right.
Logan as well? Okay.
There's actually a public meeting here on, and it's in my pile, the 27th, Amy?
Yes.
Tuesday.
At 1 o'clock.
A public hearing here, if you're interested, the representatives from the DOT and the construction company will be here if you want to talk with them.
Next Tuesday. Is that what you said?
27.
The
Correct.
27th? Okay.
1 PM.
Yeah, that's because of the fact that it's a two-part repair.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see, we've already taken care of the resolution, so that brings us to the financial reports. And you have in your packet the account balances for the month, as well as January through July budget versus actual, and you have the transactions list by date for the month of July. And I'm going to guess that the town clerk has something she'd like to add to that.
I do.
Excuse me, the treasurer. The treasurer is going to
The
add.
treasurer. We have received the August settlement from the county for the remainder of taxes. We've also received our fire dues from the state, which was about 5,500 above what we were expecting. The property assessments should be arriving in your mailboxes this week. As you know, we're going into budget time, so please start thinking about your 2025 budgets and your respective committees. I do want to put my treasurer hat on, or my clerk hat on for a second. In regards to the election, the partisan primary was a well-received partisan primary. I want to say it was one of the biggest partisan primaries. It even outdid our spring election. So our spring election had 1,117 people, and our partisan primary had 1,129 people.
Good turnout.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that, thank you, Amy. We would need a motion to put the financial reports on file.
I'll move to put the financial reports for the period of July 2024 on file.
Motion by Linda, second by?
Second?
Second by Jeannie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Move down. Okay, approval of vouchers, bills, and claims, July 16th through August 19th. Everybody's had a chance to look at them?
Mm-hmm.
A motion would be in order. Go ahead, Jeannie.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims from July 16th, 2024 through August 19th, 2024.
Motion by Jeannie, second by? Second. Second by Mark. Approval of vouchers, claims, and bills. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You can pay them all. Okay, good. Oral committee commission reports. Anyone have anything that they would like to add? Linda?
Well, I can. So I met with Destination Sturgeon Bay Board on Wednesday, July 24th, and they asked for some more detail on our town park restroom remodeling renovation project. So I did put together a summary of that with also a site drawing of where the new bathrooms would be located, and their next meeting, I will go to that. It is on August 29th at 8 a.m., so I will go to that. Last month, regarding the Tourism Zone Commission, I had reported on some occupancy numbers, and I believe there was a question on rates compared to the previous year. So we have almost, so from June of 2023 to June of 2024, we have almost 10,000 more units available for rent. Units, rooms, houses, whatever.
10,000?
10,000. This went from 145,000 in 2023. This is available units, okay? So available rooms, homes, cottages, condos.
Resorts, all that.
Get
Yep.
tossed out of the house, there's a lot of places to stay.
And I had reported that the average daily rate for the county was $266 per night. And somebody wanted to know what it was the previous year. It was $241. And occupancy rate in 2023 was 57% compared to 51% this year, obviously, because we have more units, so occupancy numbers go down. So that answers that question. We had a full Door County Tourism Zone Commission meeting on August 15th. We had quite a few items up for discussion. One of the items was we did take action to do a sweep of our bank accounts. So a sweep would, anything over, we can set a threshold of, say, $1 million. So that evening, any account that is having excess of $1 million, it would be swept into a demand deposit marketplace program. And then that is subsequently split out among banks so that you are always FDIC insured, that $250,000 limit on FDIC. There was also healthy discussion. Bailey's Harbor is requesting that the tourism zone take care of their permitting process. And the number of commissioners that did address that were not in favor of that, we like local control. We like to know what's going on as opposed to turning it over to and putting a burden, additional burden on the tourism zone staff. And then it was suggested, well, we'll just hire another person. I don't think that accomplishes, like I said, I would like to see the control remain with our local clerks. It's going to be brought back to the next meeting. There was also a very brief discussion on, it seems like everybody is charging an administrative cost or whatever when it comes time to use a charge card. I noticed it. I was out of town this weekend. When I went to the restaurant, there was a 4.9% service charge. Yes, 4.9, and that is not a tip. That is not a tip. That was their service charge on our lunch bill.
The tip is eat someplace else.
Usually 3%.
And then when you get the tip card, it says 25%, 20%, or 15%. So
It's inflation.
anyway, it's inflation. I'm a good tipper, so. Let's see, and like I said, that credit card, that is going to do a little more research on that and bring that back to a next meeting. We do have a couple lodging providers that need to get their act together when it comes to paying room tax and filing reports. So our attorney Van de Castle, is very on top of everything, so he's working with those people. And our next meeting will be in September then, and of course, it will be budget time.
One question, if I could. This topic that Bailey's Harbor has raised it once before.
No, it was a different, actually, a little different.
It was along the same lines, though, which was to try and get them to assume.
No,
A
they
uniform,
They
it was
wanted
a
everyone to
uniform
do.
ordinance.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
It was
sure.
a
Yeah,
uniform.
but along the same lines. And so the thrust of the request was, well, our permit is such a duplication of what the zone does. Well, then why are you doing a permit? Don't do your own permit if it's
Yeah.
just a duplicate of the zone permit. Anyway.
Well, the
so
interesting thing for Mr. Elliott they have a clerk,
Right.
a deputy clerk, and a treasurer. So we should give a whole lot of applause to our clerk treasurer because
Absolutely.
she handles all of that without any issue.
They have about,
So-
they do about 136 permits
Yeah, they're more than
Amy, you're
ours.
doing what, close to 90 or whatever?
Yes,
Yeah.
we had
So-
86.
And they have 3 full-time people.
It's not how many you have, it's what they do. Is there, from your perspective, anything that the town should do with respect to their proposal? I know that the two of you are going, but I mean, other than obviously voice our shared concern, is there anything officially that we should do? If there is, let us know.
Okay.
I mean, if we should
Maybe
send a nasty
something
letter
in
with some.
support of maintaining local control,
Yeah.
that we like local control. Because just think if the tourism zone took this over, you know all the supplemental information that is attached to that permit.
Yeah.
It's an insurance binder, it's a site drawing, it's a parking plan, your agent information. I mean, it's a whole list, it's quite a packet.
Yes.
Right.
And to put that burden on staff that is already overworked, in my mind anyway, just,
Yeah, well, and it was interesting too, because he wasn't asking for the zone to pursue any issues. You know, if there's any compliance issues, he wasn't looking for the zone
Right,
to
and
do
that
that
would-
for Bailey's Harbor. He just wanted them to do the permit.
right.
It didn't, yeah, whatever.
All right, well, if you think appropriate, let us know, we can conjure up something.
Maybe something in support of not
Right.
having the zone take on this extra task or something like that. I don't
Okay.
know.
Anyone else have questions of Linda? Anyone else have anything else that they'd like to chat about? All right, hearing none, we will move on to the county board report with District 14 Supervisor, Mr. Zettel.
Thank you, Mayor, Mr. Chairman, and members of the county board. Thank you for giving me a couple minutes to give you a summary of county board activities from last month's July 23rd meeting. I want to focus on the final 2 items, which are going to have significant impact for some of our health and human services programs. The first was we authorized the county to enter into a settlement with Kroger. The Kroger company is regarding an opioid settlement. Kroger, which has Pick and Save, and they ran pharmacies back in the day. Some of them they still do, and it's basically for their part in the opioid pandemic. The settlement is worth $1.3 billion, and we are one of the plaintiffs amongst many other states. Those proceeds will be shared 30% with the state of Wisconsin, or some of those proceeds, our share of those proceeds will be 30% with the state, 70% with the county and towns. And as part of the county and town settlements, of that 70%, there's also roughly around 26% that needs to be retained for potential lawyer fees. And a lot of the settlement terms are in line with the other opioid settlements that have been put in place in the last 2 years. So that'll give the county some badly needed funds, and one of those is the next topic, which we basically are using $100,000 of existing opioid settlement funds, of which we have currently $300,000 on hand to support the startup of a sober living facility for women, using a firm called CORE out of Manitowoc County, which does kind of sober living outplacement services for several other counties in the state, and have been doing it quite successfully. They actually have a facility that they're going to use. As you know, we had reserved some ARPA funding for a potential sober living facility if we could find one. We're going to retain those monies, and in case this pans out and we can actually look at a facility for both men and women. This current program, this $100,000 with the, I think, existing, I want to say $83,000 that HHS had, will help them basically fully fund the full year, and basically provide that money for the firm to start up that facility. It typically takes $65 to $75 a day to handle a client that is sent for to sober up, get off drugs, get treatment, etc. We currently send those folks out of the county, Part of the challenge with sending folks out of the county is when they come back, they don't necessarily have a place to land, whether it's a place to stay, reestablishing family ties, ties with friends, ties with others that can be part of their support system. And a lot of times, these outpatient services that we conduct in other counties, they fail just because there's not a landing spot for them. The more that we can provide outpatient facility with living facilities to help those folks get back on their feet, get a job, reestablish ties to the county, et cetera, the more successful those services will be. The county is targeting women first because that's a large client base. It's also a large impact to those clients because many of those clients have kids. And so if you imagine trying to send someone out for services, and then you have kids that you have to place in basically foster care. So you can imagine the amount of services and costs the county incurs to provide those services when they have someone that's undertaking that sort of treatment. So we believe this $100,000 is money well spent. By doing this outsourced services of IDEA, it relieves us of a challenge of trying to find staff if we try to ramp up our own. I know there's always seems to be a penchant in a lot of governments to staff and control all of this themselves, but there's been a hiring challenge in these sorts of roles. And this will also give us a good environment, basically, to pilot this, to see how successful it is. And we may continue to work with them as an agency, but we may be able to do something on the order of being able to fund the facility part, that can handle both male and female clients down the road, and be able to have, less concerned about challenges about trying to have a facility in place. So we passed that as well, and we're looking forward to getting that ramped up within the next month. Relative to items on just wearing my broadband committee chair hat, I just want to congratulate the county on your patience and for finally having the Public Service Commission and AT&T come to a resolution not only for the town of Sevastopol, but also for the town of Sturgeon Bay and for the town of Egg Harbor. Just to kind of give you a highlight of kind of what's going on to date, there's been 8 projects that are being done on the municipal level. With a total investment of around $55 million with those towns, and basically of that, around $25 million of that is town investment. So that's net of any grants that you may have received, and so it just shows the investment that the towns are making to get this done. You can see orange conduit in Bailey's town of Bailey's Harbor. You can see work being done in Jacksonport. There's most of the conduit, I believe, is almost all laid in clay banks. So there's a lot of great activity, and I look forward to that occurring in our town and our neighboring towns to the north and to the south of us as well. So that's all great news. And also, I think there's even more good news, Mr. Chair and Supervisor Vogel. In addition to the $816,000, I would be remiss in reminding you that you've also received over north of $50,000 from the County of Door.
That's true. Thank you.
Based on the number of E911 addresses. So you have roughly $871,000 worth of total grants from both the county and that AT&T will provide as part of reducing the balance for the great citizens of the town of Sevastopol. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
One quick one. You mentioned the Kroger settlement, you said the town and the county. Does that actually mean the town is going to see some?
No.
Okay.
There are some that
Kind
are
of
doing
thought
it
so.
at town level. There are some that it's being done by the county. So
Okay.
for example, Milwaukee County's not getting, I don't think it's Milwaukee County, but it's the city of Milwaukee, for example.
Okay, good enough. Thank you. Anyone
And
else have a question?
in the county minutes, there you have the hot link provided to you in the summary. It actually has, I think, on, I want to say page 79, it's got a breakdown by county, what their percentage is.
Sorry to go. Okay, thank you. Anybody else, question? Linda?
The sober living facility, so right now it's outsourced, so, right? It's
Well,
outsourced?
this will be, the services will be conducted by a firm for only, women only at this time.
Okay.
Yes.
But if you're gonna do a facility, I assume you mean a separate building, or is it gonna be an existing building? And someone's gonna have to monitor that building 24/7, I would assume. And do the clients, do they pay rent, or, I mean, if they're sober,
They-
hopefully they're staying sober and
Yes.
working.
I think there are some aspects of that where they are asked to pay rent once they are back on their feet, have a job, you know, those sorts of things.
Will it be kitchen equipped? I mean, are they
I
gonna?
have no idea how, right now, the outsourced firm has a facility. They didn't provide any details to the board as far as where that facility is located, you know, but the fact that they have both a facility and a staff means they can ramp up rather quickly. And depending on how that operates, then it can determine, you know, based on the needs there, what kind of facility, you know, we would actually need. So the fact that we can operate for a full year, it'll give us some insights relative to, you know, is our investment enough? And if so, what will we need, you know, to both staff as well as, you know, design a facility that's adequate.
I'm just thinking that, you know, if you did have to build one and you have to staff it, and then you have employees and benefits, and, you know, is it really balancing out to just
It could,
instead
yes.
outsource it?
Yes, thank you. No, I think where I was coming from, Supervisor Wade, is that we could provide the facility, they provide the manpower and the staffing to do that.
That would save some
Yeah.
dollars.
So that might be an option for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, anything else? Thank you, Hugh, appreciate it. All right, moving on to license and permits, you have a copy of inspection specialist billing for the month. And Amy has also dug up the building permit list for you, and you have a copy of that as well. So in your travels, you can use that as a reference. And we're gonna move on to the correspondence, which is the standard City of Sturgeon Bay Fire Department report for the month, number of incidents. This one is gonna be interesting at budget time, Bay Lake Regional Planning, whether or not we're going to make that investment for next year, $6,900, based on their revised costs.
We have a plan commission meeting scheduled for Tuesday, August 27th. We're gonna talk about our budget, so I plan to include this
Okay,
on our agenda, but it'll be subject to the board's
well, that'd be good, I
approval
mean,
as well.
appreciate your input, because this is, I think
So
this
that's
year
an
we
addition?
really burned through $6,000 for little or no value, but at any rate, we will see.
So Tuesday, August 27th is a plan commission meeting?
Yes, Tuesday, August 27th at 5:30. Yes,
Yeah.
we have one matter and plus our budget.
So the state of Wisconsin also issued or gave us the Department of Revenue statement of changes in our equalized value, and the town went up $173,930,000. That was one big house, if I remember correctly. Very big house. Obviously a significant increase, and we'll see that reflected in the property assessments that'll be sent out in the next week or so. That's an increase of 15%, so pretty significant. Also at this month's Wisconsin Towns Association meeting, this gal from the Technology Services Project Manager, Ashley DeGrave, is going to be there, and she'll be talking about the public safety radio system. And this is something we're gonna have to, again, figure out where we're going on the timeline and what the budgeted cost might be for what we need to replace for our EMRs. And I know a bunch of you will be at that meeting, so we should have some good sense of what we need to figure out from a budgeting perspective when we get together in October. Then we have 2 notices courtesy of the county for people that seem to feel that camping in their yard is the right way to go. The first one is roughly right in the area of the farm. This individual's been notified that they cannot camp there on a regular basis. And the second one is off of Haberly and Bechtel, where a camping unit is being housed as a home, and they've been notified that that's not an acceptable alternative. Then we have Associated Appraisal's final remaining balance, where they whittle us down to $17,000 that we have to make a final payment on. And we have computer aid that we got from the state. I can't believe all $25.98. It must be a very bad computer, I mean. And then we have the July shared revenues, $18,000, and then we also received from the state $7,129 to supplement the fact that they trimmed back the payment that Charter was providing us, but it still ends up in on our balance sheet, but the state is subsidizing Charter now, which is interesting perspective.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
is this going to be, is that going to be the amount going forward, or does it go up and down depending on the number of vendors that are using it?
I think it goes up and down with subscribers and the amount of revenue they capture. Just like
It's a
our.
percentage.
Yeah, the percentage, just
Correct.
like, right. So as they increase their cost, just like this month, I think I got $30 increase again.
Well,
That means more revenue for us indirectly.
I'm wondering if more people switch to AT&T, that might go down substantially.
Yep.
Yeah, on cable, 'cause this is only
Yep.
cable TV, right?
Yep. Well, and there's more
People will
people
go
cutting the
streaming.
cord anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Although I don't think we have to worry about that for another year,
No.
at least. Fire dues,
we start.
that number, I think, is up from previous years, 32,000 that the state sent us back for fire dues. And then we also received from the Department of Administration the estimate of Sevastopol's population, an increase. We're at 2,867 people. That's a change of 41 persons, up 1.45% since 2020. And it says we've had a net increase of 18 homes built in our town. And of the 2,867, 2,464 are estimated to be of voting age. So I guess that tells you the age of our town. Significant number, but we also, the good news is a lot of those people vote, so that's great. Another notice from the Door County's Century Bike Ride, that they'll be out there again as usual, and they have a copy of their route in place. So you will see them on the road. And down to announcements, the class tournaments held at the town park are Saturday the 31st and Sunday the 1st of September. They use all the ball fields over there. You see the banners and the crowds. The open book, for those of you who have your assessment notices, the open book is Thursday, September 5th from 11 to 4, in person here at the town hall. You'll also be able to arrange an appointment or to discuss it with them over the phone, so you'll have some flexibility there. You don't necessarily have to appear in person. The Sevastopol Historical Society, The Farmer's Wife, is on Sunday, September 8th at 6 p.m. And the Communication Technology meeting, as Jeannie mentioned earlier, is Wednesday, September 11th at 1:30. Our next Board of Supervisors meeting is Monday, September 16th at 7 p.m. And the Board of Review, if you're not elated with the open book discussion, is Thursday, September 26th from 1 to 3 in person at the Town Hall. And there is paperwork that you need to complete in advance in order to be heard at the Board of Review. So contact the clerk if you are going to take that route, because there is paperwork that you will need to be bringing with you to the meeting. And with that, we're down to a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn from Trent. We have a motion. Second by Mark. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.